Hello everyone, my name is Joao, and I'm starting a new series. I've never tried this, I never record anything much than just videos, but I've been listening to Arvid Carl's podcast and he's sharing his journey on building his new tool, Podlime. And I really found this interesting. I learn a lot from what he's doing every week and the reflections and the learnings that he shares. So I was thinking, why not try to do the same thing for the works that I'm doing now that I'm also trying to build more and more in public? And it could be nice. Maybe I can influence someone with some technical decisions, some reflections, some ways to do something. Or if not, if I cannot influence anyone, at least for me, it's also a good way to share my thoughts and to organize my mind, what I've done in the previous week, what has been working, what has not, and who knows what is going to be. This is my first episode. I still don't have any name for this series. I'm just trying it. Don't have any script, just trying what it's going to be. I've been building things for myself for a while. I started my entrepreneur journey maybe in 2018, 2019. I built Veertly, which is a virtual event platform. We recently have been acquired by Swisscom. So I'm in a transition phase right now. And I want to keep building things. That's what I really love to do. And since few months, I'm trying to be more and more active on Twitter, trying to build in public, trying to share more what I do. But I'm learning a lot also from everybody there. And my recent project is Trailerwave, which is a tool to transform Shopify product page into promotional videos. And here I'm working with a friend that I've met when I started my entrepreneur journey indeed. One of my early projects, which is Andrew. We met while I was living in the US. And now he has been here end of last year in December. And we say, why not do a small hackathon and start a new project and eventually make it a product and sell it. And that's what we started back then in December. We just spent 3-4 days really hacking and we didn't have a concrete idea what to do back then, but we said, yeah, why not? Video is becoming more and more popular and programmatic video is become much easier with Remotion. And that's what we decided to try to play with. Yeah. Let's do something with video. And then we come up with the concept of Shopify. It's a good niche. There's a lot of different stores out there. And we have a lot of material there to play together with AI. And we could generate very interesting videos from that. That's what we started to do. We're playing with the images and the product descriptions from Shopify and transform them into a video that's automatically created with voiceover. Feedback is being positive so far. Getting interesting feedback from owners, but we still need to fine-tune it more. And that's what we have been working in the last few weeks. This is just where we are right now. And from last week, one of the things that basically when we started developing this project in this mini hackathon that we did, we decided to focus more, to split the tasks more into the two of us. Andrew was more focused on the Remotion side itself, really trying to play with animations, with creating the video more on the Remotion side. And I was more focused on all the infrastructure part, not infrastructure per se, but all the architecture, all the front end part on the dashboard, and then all the AI generating the videos, creating, transforming the request from, or the input of the product page URL into a story that could be then injected into our Remotion components and build a video on top of that. So that's what I've been focused more. But we started in the beginning with 2 different projects completely, 2 different repos. And that was one, I could say maybe, not, I don't say mistake, but that was easier for us to start. Each one started more on its own side without a single project. So this creates also a little bit of technical debt. And we could not also take advantage of the synergies of having both of them. Because Remotion, for example, as a player, that you don't need to render the video to play the video. So we could add this Remotion player directly on our product. And when you are editing your video, you could see already how it would render with the new updates live without saving, without anything, which is really great. However, as we had this split, what we were doing is I need to render the video on AWS and then take the rendered MP4 and then play it on the front end. So that's something that was not optimal. And then we decided, no, in order to make this really work, we need to spend some time and merge the 2 projects and improve all the editing part of the video. And that was really our big focus last week. We just spent 4 days working together, then merging on the same branch, but working together on this part and adding more and more things to the dashboard, to the editing part of the video itself, so that you can really have them updated live. Now I'm really confident that we have a very good base to start improving and just tweaking here and there and automatically provide this feedback to the customers, what was really important. But this let me think to also when starting projects, and this is again an issue that I had also in the past when starting Veertly. When I started Veertly, which is this virtual event platform that became really big, but in the beginning, we split also the Veertly into different parts. One which was the event venue, which was one repo. And then we had another project, which also another repo, a GitHub repo, which was the cockpit, which was the backend administrator panel for your events. And this was two completely different projects. And it stays like that for months and months. Until at some point we really decide, no, we need to bring everything, backend, front end, all the dashboard parts into the same repo. And then we created this monorepo. So I'm really in favor of creating these monorepos with everything in the same code base. If you can reuse the same component, even better. But even if you cannot reuse the components from the front end to the back end, depending on your tech stack, right now with Next.js it's very easy. But when I built Veertly, we didn't build on top of Next.js, but pure React and on top of Firebase. So it was really hard in the beginning to have the same or share the same infrastructure layer. But then eventually we spent quite some time orchestrating that. And then we created a full monorepo with a commons layer that was used by both web app and the functions, the backend side, that we then deploy on Firebase. It was a lot of work to create everything like that. So the sooner you can do and have just a single monorepo, I think it's the best part. Now there's also some questions, what should you do with your marketing part? Should you do the same? Should you have your landing page together with your application itself? I don't have a concrete answer for this one, but because it depends on several factors. I think if you can have both, it's much easier because you could even leverage some widgets from your app in the main page. People are landing there, redirect instead of sharing the landing page. You could redirect directly to the dashboard if the user is already connected, for example. So there are already several things that could benefit you, but there's also good points in not having a landing page directly on your dashboard or in your monorepo. But in any case, for your app, if you can have front end, back end, everything in the same monorepo, I strongly recommend that. And yeah, for us now on this new project on Trailerwave, it took us some weeks to do it. But now that we are both working on the same project, we could also share a lot of the knowledge and share the different work on the same tasks or similar tasks. We are no longer restricted on, I'm just doing the video part and I'm just doing the dashboard part, for example. So we are starting now to creating more synergies on the type of tasks that we do. Yeah, that was one of the big parts of the end of the last week. And also one of the takeaways that I bring is really to try to see if you can aggregate most of your work in the same repo. This is really nice. I've been sharing also recently that I'm working on an outreach campaign for Trailerwave. Maybe this would be a full topic for one of the other episodes. But right now, I'm getting some results. It's still not yet fully or in cruise speed, but it's getting there. So basically, also inspired by what Arvid is sharing on his weekly building public updates. Basically, what he's doing is creating a tool to help podcasters to interact with their audience so that their audience could ask questions by audio. And one way that he's doing to market it is to find podcasts where people are already integrating comments from their audience or answering questions or really interacting more with their audience so that he could afterwards directly outreach to them, create a widget to them, and really having personalized outreach for those podcasters. And this also rang me a bell on my what could we do here on Trailerwave to work out for us and outreach with some more personalization. We can automatically create videos from product pages. So what I'm doing is based on some list of Shopify stores that exist. I'm going there, scrapping the page, getting some emails that I can contact them, creating automatic videos, and then sending the email to those potential customers and try to get their interest. I'm getting some answers here and there. I've got already one customer that was riffing from there, other people interested. So it's proving that this personalized outreach has a lot of potential, but I still need to increase the amount or the number of emails that I'm sending, a number of stores using it. So I'm ramping up slowly, but I should speed up. Maybe that will be one point for this week to focus on. But yeah, I'm going to share more updates on my outreach campaign, because this is something that I never did in the past. And I'm trying also to do some code to automate this process and to really making it also more interesting for me that I can learn. Maybe I can share also the full process in one of the next episodes. I hope that this has been useful for you. I would love to hear your feedback, what you feel about it. Is this too long? Is this too repetitive? Should it be shorter? Should it be longer? What you think about it, if it's useful or not. And also share what you are building. I think we should all learn from each other. And maybe this would be an easy way for people to interact with me, and I can at least share more what I'm doing. If not for others, at least for me in the future. I might revisit and see, yeah, that's the way I was doing it. Could have done completely different or learned from it. But it has been nice. I like to share a lot, and that's what I'm going to try to do even more. So follow me. You can follow me on x.com/Joao, Joao, again, Aguiam. And I'm going to share more and more, as mentioned, and happy to follow your journey too. So thank you for listening, and keep sharing your learnings and your feedback. Have a great day. Cheers.